So, we're gonna go ahead with biology and attraction and why we all are fucking animals. So let's see. We're gonna go ahead with the Psychology Today article. The first bit of it was like, yeah, to some degree important, to some degree like interesting still. I mean, it's a bit about chimpanzees or baboons, whatever they're called. Yes, baboons, and that eye contact is important. So when somebody is staring you into your eyes, then maybe it is meaning something. Yeah. At the bar, could these courting cues be part of a larger human mating dance? Question mark. According to David Givens, an anthropologist, and Timothy Perper, a biologist who spent several hundred years in American cocktail lounges, several hundred hours in American cocktail lounges watching men and women flirt. American singles bar courtship has several stages, each with distinctive escalation points. I shall divide them into 5. The first is the attention-getting phase. Young men and women do this somewhat differently. As soon as they enter the bar, both males and females typically establish a territory, a seat, a place to lean, a position near the jukebox, or a dance floor. Once settled, they begin to attract attention to themselves. Tactics vary. Men tend to pitch and roll their shoulders, exaggerate their body movements instead of using the wrist to stir a drink. Men often employ the entire arm, as if stirring mud. The normally smooth motion necessary to light a cigarette becomes a whole body gesture, ending with an elaborate shaking from the elbow to extinguish the match. Then there is the swagger, with which young men often move to and fro. Male baboons on the grasslands of East Africa also swagger when they foresee a potential sexual encounter. A male gorilla walks back and forth stiffly as he watches a female out of the corner of his eyes. The parading gait is known to primatologists as bird dogging. Males of many species also preen. Human males pat their hair, adjust their clothes, tuck their chins, or perform other self-clasping or grooming movements that diffuse nervous energy and keep the body moving. Young women begin the attention-getting phase with many of the same maneuvers that men use. Smiling, gazing, shifting, swaying, preening, stretching, moving in their territory to draw attention to themselves. Often they incorporate a battery of feminine moves as well. They twist their curls, tilt their heads, look up, coyly, giggle, raise their... It sounds so fucking dumb, as if all women are giggling all the fucking time. Raise their brows, flick their tongues, lick their upper lips, blush and hide their faces in order to signal, I am here. Some women also have a characteristic walk when courting. They arch... Thought about something else. Courting, They arch their backs, thrust out their bosoms, sway their hips, and strut. No wonder many women wear high-heeled shoes. The bizarre Western custom invented by Catherine de' Medici. I didn't know that it was one of the Medici. In Italy, by the way. In the 1500s, unnaturally arches the back, tilts the buttocks, and thrusts the chest out into a female come-hither pose. The clumping noise of their spiky heels draws attention too. Which really does. I mean, it's fucking loud, and sometimes I feel like, wow, quite some attention. Keeping time. Body synchrony is the final and most intriguing component of the pickup. As potential lovers become comfortable, they pivot or swivel until their shoulders become aligned, their bodies face to face. This rotation toward each other may start before they begin to talk or hours into conversation. But after a while, the man and woman begin to move in tandem. Only briefly at first. When he crosses his legs, she crosses hers. As he leans left, she leans left. When he smooths his hair, she smooths his hair. They move in perfect rhythm as they gaze deeply into each other's eyes. Sounds, to be honest, like a love story, Would be nice if it was reality, but maybe it is reality, I gotta have to keep an eye on that. I really do. Called Interactional Interactional Synchrony, this human mirroring begins in infancy. Wow. By the second day of life, a newborn has begun to synchronize its body movements with the rhythmic patterns of the human voice, and it is now well established that people in many other cultures get into rhythm when they feel comfortable together. Our needs to keep each other's time reflects a rhythmic mimicry common to many animals. Chimps sometimes sway from copulation. Cats circle, red deer prance, howler monkeys court with rhythmic tongue movements, stickleback fish do a zigzag jig. From bears to beetles, courting couples perform rhythmic rituals to express their amorous intentions. Wooing messages. Actually, a lot of very interesting insights here, I gotta have to say that. Human courtship has other similarities to courtship in quote-unquote lower animals. Normally people woo each other slowly. Caution during courtship is also characteristic of spiders. The male wolf spider, for example, must enter the long, darker entrance of a female's compound in order to court and copulate. This he does slowly. If he is over eager, she devours him. Men and women who are too aggressive at the beginning of the courting process also suffer unpleasant consequences. If you come too close, touch too soon, or talk too much, you will probably be repelled. Link wooing among wolf spiders, baboons, and other creatures, the human pickup runs on message. At every juncture in the ritual, each partner must respond correctly, otherwise the courtship fails. Which, if you think about it, and if you're just viewing it in this way, in this more scientific way, it is just such an fucking anomaly that you're just meeting people, and it is such a big process in the end. I gotta have to say that. The dinner dates. Probably no ritual is more common to Western would-be lovers than the quote-unquote dinner date. If the man is courting, he pays, and a woman intrinsically knows her partner is wooing her. In fact, there is no more widespread courtship ploy than offering food in hopes of gaining sexual favors. Around the world, men give women presents prior to lovemaking. A fish, a piece of meat, sweets, and beer are among the delicacies men have invented as offerings. This ploy is not exclusive to man. Black-tipped hang flies often catch aphids, deadly longlegs, or houseflies on the forest floor. When a male has felled a particularly juicy prey, he exudes secretions from an abdominal scent gland that catch the breeze, announcing a successful hunting expedition. Often a passing female hang fly stops to enjoy the meal, but not without compulting while she eats. What the fuck? Courtship feeding, as this custom is called, probably predates the dinosaurs because it has an important reproductive function. By providing food to females, males show their abilities as hunters, provide us worthy procreative partners. Odor Lures. Every person smells slightly different. Yeah, we all have a personal odor print as distinctive as our voice, our hands, our intellect. As newborn infants, we can recognize our mother by her smell. Both men and women have apocrine glands in their armpits, around their nipples, and in the groin that become active at puberty. These scent boxes differ from eccrine glands, or whatever they are called, which cover much of the body in combination with bacteria on the skin, produce the acid gammy smell of perspiration. Today, in parts of Greece and the Balkans, some men carry their handkerchiefs in their armpits during festivals and offer these odoriferous tokens to the women they invite to dance. What the fuck? They swear by the results. This is disgusting, man. How could a man's smell actually trigger infatuation in a woman? Or woman? This possible link between male essence and female reproductive health may provide a clue to attraction. Women perceive odors better than men do. They are 100 times more sensitive to exaltaloid, a compound much like man's sexual musk. They can smell a mild sweat from about 3 feet away, and at mid-cycle during ovulation, women can smell man's musk even more strongly. Perhaps ovulating women become more susceptible to infatuation, when they can smell male essence and are unconsciously drawn toward it to maintain menstrual cycling. A woman's or man's smell can release a host of memories too, so the right human smell at the right moment could touch off vivid, pleasant memories and possibly ignite that first stunning moment of romantic adoration. But Americans, the Japanese, and many other people find odors offensive. For most of them, the smell of perspiration is more likely to repel than to attract. Yeah. Some scientists think the Japanese are unduly disturbed by body odors because of their long tradition of arranged marriages. Men and women were forced into close contact with partners they found unappealing. Why Americans are phobic about natural body smells, I do not know. Perhaps our advertisers have swayed us in order to sell their deodorized products. Love maps, a more important mechanism by which human beings become captivated by him or her, may be what sexologist John Money called your love map. Long before you fixate on Ray as opposed to Bill, Sue instead of Cicely, you have developed a mental map, a template replete with brain circuitry that determines what arouses you sexually, what drives you to fall in love with one person rather than another. These love maps vary from one individual to the next. Some people get turned on by a business suit or a doctor's uniform, by big breasts, small feet, or a vivacious sloth. But averageness still wins. In one study, psychologists selected 32 faces of American Caucasian women and, using computers, averaged all of their features. Then they showed these images to college peers of 94 photographers of real female faces. Only 4 were rated more appealing than these fabrications. As you would guess, the world does not share the sexual ideas of Caucasian students from Wyoming. Despite wildly dissimilar standards of beauty and sex appeal, however, there are a few widely shared opinions about what incites romantic passion. Men and women around the world are attracted to those with good complexions. Everywhere, people are drawn to partners whom they regard as clean, and men in most places generally prefer plump, white-hipped women to slim ones. Looks count. So does money. From rural Zulus to urban Brazilians, men are attracted to young, good-looking, spunky women, while women are drawn to men with property or money. Americans are no exception. These male-female appetites are probably innate. It is to a male's genetic advantage to fall in love with a woman who will produce viable offspring. It is to a woman's biological advantage to become captivated by a man who can help her, support her young. As Montaigne, the 16th century French essayist, summed it up, we do not marry for ourselves. Whatever we say, we marry just as much or more for our posterity. Love at first sight. And so much more to go. Let's see. Could this human ability to adore another within moments of meeting come out of nature? I think it does. In fact, love at first sight may have a critical adaptive function among animals. During the mating season, a female squirrel, for example, needs to breed. It is not to her advantage to copulate with a porcupine, but if she sees a healthy squirrel, she would waste no time. She should size him up. And if he looks suitable, she should grab her chance to copulate. Perhaps love at first sight is no more than an inborn tendency in many creatures that evolved to spur the mating process. Then among our human ancestors, what had been animal attraction evolved into the human sensation of infatuation at a glance. Infatuation fades. Allah's infatuation fades, as Emerson put it. Love is strongest in pursuit, friendship, and possession. At some point, that old black magic wanes. Yet there does seem to be a general length to this condition. Psychologist Dorothy Tanoff measured the duration of romantic love from the moment infatuation hits to when a feeling of neutrality for one's love object began. She concluded the most frequent interval, as well as the average, is between approximately 18 months and 3 years. John Money agrees, proposing that once you begin to see your sweetheart regularly, the passion lasts 2 to 3 years. Psychiatrist Michael Leibowitz suspected that the end of infatuation is also grounded in brain psychology. He theorized that the brain cannot eternally maintain the revved up side of romantic bliss, as he summed it up. If you want a situation where you and your long-term partner can still get very excited about each other, you will have to work on it, because in some ways you are bucking a biological tide. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna end the episode. I do hope that you've been able to learn something. Please take care of yourself, your family members, and all of your loved ones, and I'm gonna see you the next time. So bye bye.